Welcome to the Kentucky Leadership Development and Discipleship Academy, where leaders are equipped, disciples are strengthened, and your calling is developed for kingdom impact. This session, we will be talking about using the Google Suite for ministry. Now, just quick poll of the room. Who is currently using the Google Suite? Show of hands. Oh, perfect. I love that because that means you don't know anything that I'm going to tell you today. So this is going to be an introduction and kind of crash course on Google Suite. I'm going to spend some time explaining some things, showing you some things, and then I also want us to have some work time because I want you to be able to begin to navigate things in the Google Suite in this room so that when you have a question, you can throw your hand up and I can come around to you. This is probably one of the more realistic classroom settings where it's not just me teaching the whole time. It's going to be some showing, it's going to be some work time, and then I'll be able to kind of jump around and answer any questions that you have. So we'll start by the introduction of it. So we need to answer the question, what is the Google Suite? So the Google Suite is a compilation of Google-based applications that are housed in one location for easy access and use. Okay, so different question. Who has ever used the search engine Google? Okay, so you're almost to the Google Suite, right? When you're using Google as a search engine, you're almost there. So just like your smartphone, whether you're an iPhone, yay, Android, boo. Just like your phone has applications. You know, you can go into messages, you can go into Angry Birds, you can go into Facebook, you know, whatever it is that you have. The Google window on your computer has applications as well that you can use, and they are completely free for you to use. It's a platform that provides a lot of tools for churches, pastors, and leaders, and they are beneficial to the ministry process. So, a couple of things that will be important for you to know. Gmail, say Gmail. That's just an email suite, okay? So whether you've used Outlook or iCloud or Yahoo or AOL, Gmail is an email suite. Say Google Docs. A Google Doc is the same thing as a Microsoft Word document. Or if you are an Apple lover, it's the same thing as Pages. Say Google Sheets. Google Sheets is the same thing as Microsoft Excel, or if you're an Apple lover, the same thing as Numbers. Say Google Slides. Google Slides is the same thing as PowerPoint or Keynote if you're an Apple user. And then there is Google Drive. Everybody say Google Drive. You'll notice everything starts with the word Google here, okay? Google Drive is online file storage of all file types. So it will store your Google Docs, it will store your Google Sheets, it will store your Google Slides. It stores everything. Your computer has a hard drive, right? You can save things directly to your computer. This storage is not found on your computer. It's found in what's called the cloud. No, we're not talking about the cloud from the Old Testament. It is this invisible structure that houses all of your files. And I could do a deep dive on how that actually works, but you're not interested in that. What you want to know is that when you store your files in the Google Drive, this online file storage, they are safe and they are easy to access. The Google Suite also has things like Google Calendar, which you can use to just have a digital calendar. Some people like a paper pencil calendar. I like a digital calendar because I can make invitations. So I can put something on my calendar, I can invite Bishop White to it, and it pops up on both of our calendars. And then I can do some other fancy stuff that we'll talk about later. Also in the Google Suite is Google Translate, where you can translate a document, you can translate a text message from English to any language you can think of, and it's right there. And you can also do vice versa. Somebody can send you something in Spanish, and you can translate it right into English. And then there is Google Meet, which is an online video conferencing platform, very similar to Zoom, which you guys are familiar with. The wonderful thing about the Google Suite is that it is free. And you know about free, if it's free, it is for me, okay? You know, for the longest time, Microsoft, you've got to buy, you know, their packages, everything. Google is free, okay? It doesn't cost you anything. The Google Drive, the online storage, automatically comes with 15 gigabytes of online storage. Unless you are creating music videos and uploading thousands of photos, that 15 gigabytes of storage is going to last you for a really long time. If you need additional storage past that, you can purchase additional storage. I think on my personal one, I've been using Google Drive for a long time. So I'm just barely above 15 gigs. I think I purchased another 100 gigabytes for like $7.50 a month. So it's not that expensive. But for what you're doing, you're probably not going to max out that 15 gigs. The Google Drive online storage system is superior to your hard drive storage. So I know a lot of you just like, I want to be able to download it on my computer. I want to know that it's on my computer. Okay, I'm going to challenge your way of thinking because your files on the Google Drive are protected from physical damage that may occur to your device. So what happens if you're sitting at the table and your coffee cup, you knock it over and coffee spills all over your brand new or your 5-year-old computer and it's fritzed. I mean, it is completely fried. Everything that was only stored on your physical device is gone. You're not getting it back. Google Drive online storage. I can use my computer. I can use Mickey's computer. I can use Melinda's computer. I can use Bishop Ledford's computer. I can use your cell phone and I can get to my files because they are not stored on your physical device. So like I preach from my iPad. When I take my iPad with me, I take with me every sermon that I have ever written. It is there, not because it's stored physically on my iPad, but because if I have Wi-Fi connection and I've got a hotspot on my phone, I can access those files everywhere. So it is superior. Your device could be crushed, soaked in water, receive a power surge, or be lost on a trip. But if you're using the Google Drive, you still have access to all of your documents. You can access your files anywhere when you use Google Drive. I also say that the search function of Google Drive is superior. If you're searching for your files on your computer, you just about have to know exactly what you named that file in order to find it. Not so with Google Drive. If I can just think of some of the words that were, I know I was talking about altars, but I can't remember. I know I was taking notes about Pastor David's lesson on altars, but I don't remember what I titled the document. I can just type in the word altar, and it's going to pull up my documents that have that. So you can search not just by the title of your document, but you can search by the content of it. And then collaboration is made more easy and more efficient with this online storage. Something I have the pleasure of doing is I lead the Kentucky Youth Council, and we have Zoom calls. Our document that we work on is housed in the Google Drive. So when I'm on that Zoom call and I've got Adam Estep and I've got Christy Minton and I've got Kennedy Wilson from Somerset and I've got all of my youth council team members on it, we are working on one document in 6 different locations across the state of Kentucky, and the edits that we are making are appearing real time. Okay, so whatever Kennedy puts in her notes, I can immediately see on my screen. Okay, she doesn't have to type something out, download it, save it, put it in an email it to me, and then I get no, it happens immediately. So when you're trying to collaborate with somebody, having something on the Google Drive storage is superior than having it stored on your physical device. Organization is made really easy in the Google Drive. You can create folders and subfolders to organize information however best suits you. And then you can share at different levels. So if I have a folder that's titled, and I do have one, it's titled Kentucky Leadership Development. If I have a singular document in there that I want to share with Pastor Kyle Stroud, I click the share button, I type in his email address, he gets access to that one document. Bishop White, however, I want him to be able to see everything in that folder. And so I can share the entire folder with Bishop White. Now, anything that is in that folder, he has online access to. Okay, so it makes sharing and collaboration a lot easier. There are some tips, and these are important for using the Google Suite. If you're going to convert to Google Suite and do this, you will want to use Google Chrome as your browser. Okay, there are lots of different web browsers. A very common one is Safari. Anybody a Safari user in here? Okay, I'm going to tell you, get rid of Safari. Okay, we don't like Safari. Internet Explorer, any Internet Explorer people in the room? Okay, any Yahoo people in the room? Okay, I'm going to tell you, Pastor Lindsay, get rid of Yahoo. Okay, we're going to get you on Google Chrome. Okay, Google Chrome is what is the actual Google created web browser. You want this on your computer. This is the one thing that you will download if you do not have it. And you will see, it's kind of small on my screen, but this looks like a beach ball, right? It's red, green, yellow, blue in the middle. That is the image of Google Chrome. This is what we want to get on your computers. In the packet that you have received, there are step-by-step instructions for several things. I think the one at the very first page is how to download Google Chrome to your computer, okay? I'm not going to do that step-by-step in this moment. We'll get to that because maybe not everybody needs to do that. So when we get to the work time, if you need to do that, that'll be your first step, and then I'll provide some assistance. The second thing that you're going to need to do if you're going to use Google Suite is you are going to need to create a Gmail email address. And again, this may stretch some of you because you love your email address. You've had it for 10 years, for 20 years, 30 years. You can create the Gmail email address and never give it to anybody, okay? You can use it for email. I would suggest you use it for email. It's very efficient, but it doesn't have to be the email address that's on your church business card. It doesn't have to be the email address that's on your church website. I would suggest, I have two Gmails. I have my personal one, and then I created one for the church as well. So my personal one, that's the one you get emails from me from, is Stetson.Harper2. The reason that it's Stetson.Harper2 is not because there's two of us out there. It's because I created Stetson.Harper years and years and years ago, and I could not ever remember the password, and I got locked out of it, and so I had to create a new one. That's why there's a 2 at the end of my email address. But you could just do your first name dot your last name. That's the easiest, most professional way to create an email address. Okay, so I'm going to use Bishop White as an example. His would be jeffrey.white@gmail. If you want to create one for your church, I would suggest your church name, COGOP, @gmail. So my church email address is churchalive.cogop@gmail. That is the email that we put on our website, that we put on our promotional material that people can contact. I have both a personal Google Suite and I have a church Google Suite. That's because some of the things that I use Google Suite for, the church doesn't need access to. My personal finance things and my tax documents and stuff that I have stored on there, the church doesn't need access to that. But at the same time, I understand that if the Lord tarries, I'm not always going to be the pastor of Church Alive. And there are some organizational things that we're creating, some documents for the church that they need to live somewhere that if I'm no longer the pastor, the next pastor can easily access it. I don't want to have to give them my personal username and password. So the church has a Gmail address. The church has a Google Drive where all of those church documents are stored. Give me a thumbs up if you're with me so far. Okay, we're going to keep pressing. When you have set up a Gmail address, you have Google Chrome as your default browser, this is what your screen is going to look like. Okay, so now we're going to get into kind of some of the visual of it. And when I say default browser, that means that like if you click on a link, it's automatically going to open Google Chrome instead of opening Safari or Internet Explorer or Yahoo. This is what it's going to look like. You're going to see a big, lovely Google. This is your search bar. This is not Google Drive. This is the internet, your access to the internet. Okay, so if you want to know how long you've got to bake a turkey on Thanksgiving, you type it there, you click enter, and you're good to go. That's not what we're concerned about today. Over here, you will see a couple of buttons. First one is Gmail. That's your access right to the email platform. Okay, if you're not using it for email, you're not really going to have to access that too much. And then you're going to see these 9 dots over here. This is called the waffle. Everybody say waffle. This is an actual term. I did not make it up. This is a Google term. It's called the waffle. When you click on the waffle, it gives you access to all of the applications. Okay, so here we see Google Drive, Gmail, Google Calendar, Google Photos, Google Meet, Google Translate. As I scroll down, Google Sheets, Google Docs, Google Slides, okay? I can click on any of those and it automatically takes me to that application, okay? So this is how you navigate the Google Suite. My personal preference is that when I open my Google, I'm starting my day, I will open my Gmail, I'll get all my emails up, and then I'll come back over, open a new tab. I just did that by clicking the plus sign. I come over to the waffle, and I click on Google Drive. Once you are in your Google Drive, this search box is not to the internet. This search box is for your files, any documents that you have created. You will notice that this kind of looks like a search engine, but this is just your file storage. This is where you can type in anything and you can find, so if I go in here and I type in Easter, egg, registration, I can get all of my things that have information about our Easter egg hunt that we just did. This is going to be your best friend for navigating. When you're in the Google Drive, you will notice this big plus sign over here that says New. If you click on that, it's going to give you some options. If you have an existing document that you want to get onto Google Drive, this is where you're going to go. So maybe you have a Word document or you have an Apple Pages document. You don't want to start from scratch. You don't have to start from scratch. You click the plus button, you go to File Upload, and it will take you to your hard drive where you can upload any documents. It will convert it to the Google version. So it will upload your Word document and turn it into a Google Doc. Some of the formatting may need to be edited, but it will do that. If you want to create a new document, again, you go to that plus sign, you go down to Google Docs. You click on that and you're immediately in a Google document. Okay? Once I'm in a Google document, I need to do a couple of things. It will say Untitled Document. You can highlight in there, and you can name your document. And then you're off to the races. You begin typing, you can begin working. A lot of the functions are the same to Word. You can change your font, your size, you can indent, you can do everything that you can do in Word, you can do in a Google document as well. The other thing that you will want to do is to decide how are you organizing your Google document. So right now I have something that says test document. Beside that, and it's a little hard to see on your screen, there's a little folder with an arrow on it, and it says move when I hover over that. When I click that, I can select anywhere in my Google Drive to place that document. If I don't have somewhere that I want it, I can click on all locations. I can go to my drive and I can create a new folder right here. And I'm just going to name that test folder. So now I have a folder named test folder, and inside that folder is test document. I'll show you what that looks like. Now you see my folder, it says test folder. and that is my test document. Okay, are we still with me so far? All of this making sense? The benefits of the Google document. Again, we already talked about collaboration. Over here in this button, it says share. So it shows me Church Alive as the owner. And let's say that I want to work with Miranda on this. Her email address is Mrs. Miranda Harper at gmail.com. I can type that in, and then next to her email address is going to appear this box, and I get to choose. Do I want her to have full editing rights, means she can open the document and make any changes? Do I want her to just view it? So I want her to be able to see the contents, but I don't want her to delete anything. I don't want her to add anything. I can make those options. So for this, I'll just say I want her to be a viewer, and then you click the send button. It automatically sends her an email to her Gmail, and it gives her an avenue to access it from her Google Drive. Now she can open that document and she can make edits in real time as I'm doing that as well. Let me show you document. Okay, this is an agenda that I have had. It's been edited, it's been used before. So there's an extra button up here. It looks like a time clock. I can click on that and I can see all of the editing history. Okay, so I can see who made what changes, on what day, and on what time they made those changes. That editing history can be really beneficial to you in Google Docs. The other good thing about Google Docs is, unlike Microsoft Word, you don't have to click the save button. It automatically saves every 3 seconds. Okay? Has anybody ever lost a document because you forgot to hit the save button? I did in college. I wrote a 10-page paper, forgot to hit the save button. Computer crashed, reopened my computer, and guess what was gone? My 10-page paper with all of my academic sources, and I'd start from scratch. Google Docs automatically saves for you. From the Google Drive, you can also create a Google slide. You just click that new button, and you go down to Google Slides, and you're automatically in it. It will give you some options as far as themes go on this side, and you can begin making a slideshow or PowerPoint presentation. Again, all of these are preloaded in here. So all of this is free that you can choose, and it's literally, there's one in here called Leadership Workshop. Okay, so I can put that right in here. Okay, and I'm off to the races. Okay. Some of the benefits of Google Slides is it's a great way to make a complex document. So allow me to show you something really quick. I'm going to need to... If you are trying to make a complex form, like something that has checkboxes or a form that you want to include images on, I'm going to be honest with you, Google Docs is not going to be your friend if you want to include images, because as you drag the image around, it distorts your text. Google Slides, you can actually create a document with, and I'm going to show you the step-by-step for that, because you won't find this many places. You go to File, and you go all the way down to Page Setup. And it will give you just a couple of options: standard, widescreen, 16:9, or widescreen 16:10. We want to go to Custom. And we are going to put in 8.5 by 11. Why are we doing 8.5 by 11? That is the dimensions of a standard sheet of paper. 8.5 by 11. And then you just click Apply. All of a sudden, this is now a standard size document. I can add as many text boxes as I want to. I can add as many images as I want to, and it's really simple to just click and drag around. Also, from your Google Drive, you can create a Google form. Again, you just click the New button, go down to it. Google Forms, this is a really good way to have a registration if you're having an event or for children's ministry, or you want to know how many people are coming to something. It's a really easy way to do it. A couple of things that you want to know about Google Forms. You want to have a title for it. And then I have learned the hard way that when you want somebody's name, don't just make one box that says name, okay? We're going to say first name. And then over here, I'm going to add another question, and I'm going to title this last name. And Google Docs is pretty intuitive. It just changed it from a multiple choice to a fill-in-the-blank response, okay? I didn't even have to change that. It did it for me, but if I want to control it, there's a drop-down box over here. I can do short answer, I can do paragraph answer, multiple choice, check boxes, drop-downs, all kinds of different things. And then I'm also going to click this little slider that says required on all of my questions in my Google form. Because if I don't click that slider that says required, then somebody may not have to put in their first name. They may just put in a last name. Well, I'm making you put in your first name. I'm making you put in your last name. I'm making you put in your phone number and your email address. I'm making you answer every single question in the Google form, because if you don't, it won't let you submit. When you're finished making your Google form, you click the purple publish button, and you click it again, and it will give you right up here, it says copy responder link. I can click that copy button, and I can paste that into anything. I can put it into an email, I can put it into another web browser. This is what it looks like from the other end. Okay, so now the user sees they've got to put in their first name, they've got to put in their last name, and you can submit it. There are a lot of things that you can do with Google Forms. I'm not going to get in, we could have a whole session on just Google Forms. But what I will say is that I've given you some step-by-step instructions in your packet of how to create a Google form, going into some of the more detailed things. If you get into using a Google form and you need some assistance, I'm your guy. Call me, email me, text me. I love this stuff, right? I could talk about Google Suite for a long time, okay? I used this extensively as a teacher, and I use it every single day as a pastor. There is not a day that goes by in pastoral ministry where I am not using the Google Suite. These are great resources. We just did our Easter egg hunt. We made a simple Google form for people to register with, and we had 197 people that used that link. And how we disseminated that information is we turned that link into a QR code. And that's can be another session about how to use Canva, but you can get a QR code generator. You've experienced a QR code in your life, whether or not you realize it. It's a square, it looks like a barcode. Anybody with a smartphone can scan that, and it immediately takes them to the website or the Google form that is associated with that. So the form, the flyers that we printed out, that we sent out to the school, on that, just a small portion of it was that QR code. Parents scanned that, they registered. So we knew in advance how many people were coming to our event, which was really beneficial and really helpful. It also, you can create a spreadsheet from it, and it will show you all their names, phone numbers, email addresses. You can copy paste their email addresses into an email. If you do that, please use the blind carbon copy function of it so that you are not sharing all of those individuals' personal information with all of those individuals, okay? But it's another really good use for you. Okay, this is what I want you to do in your packet. We still have 17 minutes. I'm going to make you do some work. This is where the teacher in me is really going to come out. I want you to look in that packet, and they are in order of importance. If you do not have Google Chrome downloaded, you're on page 1. You are starting to download Google Chrome, okay? If you've got that, go to the next page. It's going to talk to you about how to step-by-step instructions for creating a Gmail address. If you have Google Chrome downloaded and you have a Gmail address, you are a rock star, okay? And then as you continue to go through that packet, it's going to give you instructions. Create a Google Doc, create a Google form, create a Google slide. I want you to start trying to do those things over the next 15 minutes so that when you have a question, you can raise your hand and I can come to you, okay? I'm going to tell you what I would tell my 4th graders. There's one of me, there are a lot of you, okay? It will take me some time as you have some questions to get to you. I don't want to be too teachery, but it's very beneficial if you don't actually stand up and come to me, but if you'll just stay where you're at and slip your hand up, I will come to you, I will help you, and we'll get you using the Google Suite, okay? Does that make sense? Okay, you've got your instructions, get to work. If you need some assistance, raise your hand, let me know. Thank you for being a part of the Kentucky Leadership Development and Discipleship Academy. Check out our other trainings, tools, and resources in the Academy to continue strengthening your leadership.